Hey everyone, this is Tonia Haddix,
And this is Amber Renee.
and you're listening to the Chimp Crazy Lady Show.
So, do you want to start out by saying who you are and what you want to, what you'd like to accomplish here?
Sure. So, what are we going to accomplish today? I mean, what do you think we ought to start out with?
Well, there are a ton of questions that I can ask you that people have
Okay.
sent.
Okay, we'll do that. That way they can it's kind of like get to know Tanya thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Okay.
Okay, that sounds good. Um, okay, well, the big question is about your ear.
I can't remember what year but my ear is intact. My ear is intact. So it's all good.
Everybody thinks that you just lost your ear because they put that picture.
That was for basically more drama.
Yeah.
As I said in every interview before, it was not near as bad as they portrayed it to be.
That picture wasn't even you, right?
No.
Yeah. Um,
So,
well, how has life been like after this has happened? Like you said you wanted to talk about that some.
you know as well as I do, it's been really chaotic and crazy. Just for the haters and the love too, because I've had mixed. It makes it really rough though, because the people that you thought would stand behind you because of what you've done throughout your career, brokering exotics, you would think that that would hold some validity for people to realize that this documentary. First of all, because Eric and them admit that they tricked me, so obviously, it wasn't like I set out to do anything wrong, and I was a victim of their circumstance. And anybody knows documentaries are definitely. I don't. Eric hates the word scripted, so I'm trying to stay away from that. But they definitely are not like shots that they just portray straight across the board without clipping, snipping, and whatever. So it definitely is. What you see is not what you get.
Yeah, I mean, even in the editing and the things that they choose to keep in the documentary, like all of that is biased.
Very much so, for sure. Yes, because they have their agenda. They set out with a cause and they go with it.
Yeah. And in this case, what do you think the cause was?
Well, initially, I think when they found me, they thought they were going to have like a Tiger King 2 per se, but with chimps. And I think that that's what they were running with initially when they were filming. But I think once the film crew got to know me and know that my agenda is different than what Tiger King's were, I think they kind of started feeling bad. And definitely Dwayne Cunningham, because he is an animal person, I feel like he was like, hey, dude, she doesn't make any money off these chimps. She doesn't do anything to these chimps. They weren't her chimps to begin with. She just went up to help a cause. And I really feel like this is about a love story, about her love for Tonka. And so I think that's when the narrative changed. And I think so the documentary flipped. Um, and they started filming more fun stuff like the scenes that we did like in Branson, and the stuff we did at St. Louis, and the stuff we did here, even out on a boat in the middle of November, that type thing.
Hmm.
I think they did want to portray it as more of a love story, but in the same token, they have Eric has a weird way about himself, and it's strange because I like Eric, but I don't understand him. And anytime I start to think I like him, he does something to me that pisses me off, and then I can't like him. So we have kind of this love hate relationship, and it's strictly because I like to know where you're coming from. What do you want from me? Where are you coming from? And then if I like it, I'll consent to it. If I don't, too bad. But he would manipulate situations, and he would lie and tell me lies to get me, like dangling a carrot per se, to get me to do things. And then he never fulfilled his promises. But then he doesn't understand why people get pissed off at him. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe you need to understand what you're doing. And maybe you don't even realize you're doing it, but you do those things.
Yeah, so I know some of the lies that he told you, but do you want to elaborate at all, like on some of the lies?
Sure. Well, the biggest and first foremost
Hmm.
was getting to see Tonka. You know, they filmed. They went down there to film with Alan Cummings, and they lied about that whole thing to begin with. Supposedly, that was not the way it went down, but the fact of it is they did, and they were supposed to get me on Skype or some kind of technology to where I could see Tonka and talk to Tonka while they were there, and also, too, they were supposed to be working on getting me visitation to my kid.
Yeah,
So that was my biggest want. I mean, anybody would want that, and anybody would do almost any. Well, no, because I've had backlash because of that, because I love him so much. But nonetheless, I would have done it. And then the other thing is that they were going to help me, and they don't want to use the term attorney fees, but that was what was, addressed to me. That was what was said to me.
mhm,
Um, and I even have a text to back that up. But basically, they bought like pictures from me. They bought different things so that they could do it legally, I guess. And but still, the ends justify the means, which was to help me pay my attorney fees that they cost. Because if they wouldn't have turned me in, I wouldn't have had a need for an attorney. And hence, here we go.
yeah. And so obviously you haven't been able to visit Tonka or speak to him in any way.
No, and the sad thing of it is it hurts him more than it hurts me because I understand legal laws and I understand PETA and that type stuff, but he doesn't.
Yeah,
And I had somebody the other day that's a total stranger that didn't even know me reach out to me and said that every time they see videos or pictures of him, he's just looking around, that he's just lost. And I said, well, he needs to see his mom.
yeah, he does. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's not okay, but it is okay. It's sad that they would do that to him, but at the end of the day, I tried to fight a fight, and the thing of it is they're just strong and powerful. PETA's got more money than they've got sense, and their agendas are just horrible.
And so are they're still coming after you?
Oh, like a vengeance,
Yeah.
like the gift that keeps on giving, and you don't want it.
So a lot of people are asking if you, obviously, I know that you have your Safari open, right?
Yes,
Yeah. And
yes.
so a lot of people are like, where is that? Is that open? Even though it's all listed online.
Yes, it is. It's open and it's in Sunrise Beach, Missouri, which is the middle of Missouri, and it's at a lake town. And basically, it's open 10 to 5 Thursday through Sunday for the rest of the duration of this season, and then we'll be back up in full swing summer hours when next season hits. But um, the reality to it is I've had a lot of support come through, a lot of bikers come through wanting pictures and that type stuff, and so there has been a lot of things happening in that area too.
That's good.
But I do encourage anybody that has any doubt about how the animals are taken care of and that type stuff to come do that, because that way they can see for themselves. Because if you look at our true Google ratings that come through, we always get a 5 because we really, really do love the animals and they can see that we do. I mean, it's just so obvious.
Yeah, I did look. You do have good reviews. So, is there anything that you've been like wanting to let out? Because I feel like a lot of the videos or the interviews that people have done have kind of been like what they want and like what they think is going to get them views or I don't know.
Right, right. Their narrative. Everybody has an agenda or their narrative.
Yeah, yeah, it's their agenda. So, like, is there anything, for your agenda that you want to let out, like you want to share?
Well, the whole thing of it is it's unfortunate that everything happened the way it did. Am I proud of all my moments? No, I'm not. Was I caught up in the fact that I thought I had to save my boy, and would I do that for my other kids? Yes, I would. People just don't realize the relationship that I had with Tonka, and it can't be replaced because everybody's like, "Well, you've got other animals." Yes, I do, but a relationship with a chimp is like like none other. And I can't even begin to explain that. But I would like to see some good come out of it besides the negative, which is that we get some legislation passed somehow, some way, that this does not happen to somebody else, that nobody can do a documentary about somebody without their permission. It should be very, very specific on what they expect out of you, what they want out of you, and and give your consent to actually do it. They should not be able to record and be able to trick people by saying that they're a private ownership couple of people and they've just got a little bit of funds that they're trying to do a documentary. It really, really should be spelled out, and you should have a right to say, once you find out that that person is not who they are, you should have a right to be able to stop the documentary. But I have many, many texts where I have begged to please don't do this because I knew it was going to ruin my life. And I felt like I didn't have a say so in any of it. And now I'm caught up in this big whirlwind. And a lot of people are upset because they were like, well, if you did not want this, then why are you starting to do like TikTok, or why are you starting to do things? It's because I've been so bashed that I feel like I have every right to be able to say what happened. And I'm so sick of everybody, blaming me for stuff that I'm not saying that I can't own up to what I did, because I'm most certainly welcome to do that. I take responsibility for anything I did. But don't just make me out to be this big huge bad guy, when in essence there was a lot of people that used and abused me to get their agenda fulfilled. Period.
Okay, yeah, you were getting a call. Yeah, but yeah,
Okay, now what
that
was
has to be illegal even now. Isn't that not illegal that they lied to you about who the director was and what was going on? Like,
apparently not. I mean, maybe it's unethical, because I definitely know it's unethical at best, because Rolling Stones magazine told me that themselves. But again, it's sad because part of me is really upset with them, but then again, I can't help but not like Jeremy McBride, because I'm not gonna lie, because everybody's like, well, I like him. He's been really good to me. He's tried to support me through all this stuff. I don't have anything negative. And the film crew themselves, they were just employees of Eric Good. They didn't do anything wrong for me. To me, whenever I had a broken ankle, they all tried to help me get through the filming and that type stuff. It's funny because we could pick it apart, but the main thing of it is it's just how they went about things. They never ever should have done what they did to me, and definitely whenever I begged them not to do this, and they just never should have. That's end of
yeah,
story.
I agree. Like, I don't understand how that was legal at all to do. Like, I don't. It's like false representation, and then also like just everything. Just you don't want. It's
Well,
your private life, and you don't even know who's like actually using the footage.
and everybody's like, because Dwayne would say to me occasionally, he'd say, "What you don't want us to know, or what you don't want everybody to know, don't say it." Well, they know me too, because they admit they know me, and that's because they learned me over the years, that I just say it how it is. I don't like, just like I tell everybody, I don't want friends that I have to keep secrets from and tell this one, and that one, that one. I want to be an open book. And just because everybody else is got their agendas, and they like to hide their agendas, and they'll do anything, even act like they're your friend to get something
Hmm.
out of you, you'll never find that with me, because I'll tell you right now, if I don't like you, I just don't like you. And I'll tell you that straight out. I have not a qualm to just fucking just click and be like, no, like a fuck you button when somebody calls me. If I don't answer, you know why? It's because I don't want to deal with you. So that's just how I am. And I will always be that kind of person. And I have no filter. I just say it how it is. If somebody asks me something, if you don't want the truth, you best not be asking me, because you're going to get stuff that you don't want to hear. But anyway, so I just wish that people would be like that too. Just be a straight shooter. Just say it how it is. If you want something from me and I'm willing to give it, hey, more power to you. That's great. But if I'm not, then don't.
What's what's that?
That's my little howler. As you can see, she has to visit and be around no matter what. She's amazing. She is just, I've raised her since she was a baby. I got her last year when the safari opened, and she grumbles. They're the loudest primate in the whole world. They can be heard for an 8 mile radius when they become adults because they have this big bag that they blow up and air goes through and it resonates. So she's a crack.
How long does it take for them to become adults?
She's still a baby yet, but she probably will reach sexual maturity when she's 6 or 7.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
And you were looking at another howler, right?
yeah. I actually found a little blonde howler too that I'm supposed to pick up tomorrow, so that she has a companion. Um, yeah, it's been crazy.
But
But I have, primates are my deal. I mean, if anybody wants to know, it's primates. So yes, I love all animals, but because I love my sloth to death, Sydney, and I'm gonna have to put her on the podcast one day because Sydney the sloth is amazing, and I got bashed not very long ago because she turned a year old in June, and I posted a video of her eating a little piece of birthday cake, and I mean minuscule piece of birthday cake, and everybody's like, "Why would you feed a sloth sugar? You're gonna kill that sloth. It'll be dead in 30 days." Well, guess what? That was June 2nd, and she's alive and well and kicking, and she doesn't get sugar. She gets fresh veggies, but it was uh, it was blown out of proportion and really ridiculous because nobody would give her real cake. Yes, it was just a little tiny piece just because it was cute. It was something that we could do for fun, but she did not get the cake. I even had to post where the whole cake was intact except just a little bit of the icing, but they still blew it up. So it's just like you're under a microscope all the time, and that gets very old quickly.
yeah, I would imagine so. And so how did they see that? Was it on Facebook or something?
Yeah, I posted on my Safari. No, actually, on my regular Facebook page, just because we were proud that we had a cute birthday party. She wore a princess crown, and she was definitely living the life, and I thought it was cute. And then here I get ridiculed for it, so I'm like, okay, well, lesson learned
From
there.
your friends or
Yeah, monkey people. The guru of
have
gurus.
you been like weeding a lot of those out of your being able?
To be honest with you, no. I've only got rid of 2 off my page. I I I don't mind people having their opinions, and even if it's against my opinion, as long as you do it in a constructive way and you're not like bashing somebody or tearing somebody down. Because I'm okay with everybody having difference of opinion, but you don't have to be mean. Don't be a mean girl club. Just don't join that mean girl club. That's high school material. That's not adulthood. But apparently it's become adulthood, especially since we have the internet and we have keyboard warriors. But I'd like for them to come to my house and say it to my face.
Yeah,
So
unfortunately, that is the culture on the internet today, where everyone feels that you have to agree with their exact viewpoint, or else you're a complete idiot.
yes, and they want to tear you apart and bash, and I'm just like, okay, really? Well, I even don't agree with PETA, but I'm not there to bash PETA. The only time I bash them is, and I mean, they've really desecrated me the last little bit since Chimp Crazy, and the fact of it is I still have the same view about PETA that I always have, which is they used to might be had a been a good organization, but because of the fact that their agendas have really gone crazy and they go way extreme with what they do, then I can't agree with them and I can't like them. But that doesn't mean that they don't do good things because possibly they might. I mean, I just would like to see that everybody could agree to disagree and play in the same sandbox nicely, or just don't play at all.
Yeah, yeah. Well, PETA used to say that they didn't even want people to have pets at all, which is just absurd to me. So,
And you see good old Jerry Goodman sitting with his dog in a documentary. So I'm like, okay, how does that play out? But yes, they don't. And they will eventually. It will come down to the domestics. Right now, they're after anything endangered because they can use the Endangered Species Act to further their agenda
Yeah,
easily and get you in federal court because anybody can put you in federal court. And so, with that said, it kind of makes it kind of crazy. But it's a log haul, and I don't agree with any of it.
it's just absurd and ridiculous.
It is.
Um, do you think you would have?
Oh, she's she's a mess.
Do you think you would have like participated in the documentary if Eric had told you it was him doing it?
Not just no, but hell
Yeah.
no. Because that was asked straight out. Are you sure this is not Eric Good? Good entertainment. And they're like, no, no, I swear, blah, blah, blah. No, no. And he knows it. He knows it first straight out. You could ask him straight out, would you think, no.
So, how
So
did you know of him? Like, was it from Tiger King?
it was what they did to Joe and to Tim Stark because Tim and I were friends, and I feel really bad for him because I think he's gone off the deep end right now, and I really hate it. And the whole thing of it is I think it ruined Joe's life. I think it ruined everybody's life in Tiger King, and I hate it. And I would never have wanted to put the chimps through that, nor would I have wanted to put other people through that. So there was just no way. It just wasn't going to happen if it would have been Tiger King. I thought it was just like a PBS level documentary that was going to be nothing, and that it was because they even made so much of a huge pretense to like bring me supposedly what little bit of spending money they had um, the first time that they came out to Connie's and sent me. It was like it wasn't even very much money, but it was just like a few $100s. But they even said we wanted to give you this before we left because you gave us so much of your time and go buy the chimps, something because I used to have. A change jar that anytime I went out on transports and stuff, I would always use a dollar bill and get all the change and collect it. And at the end, when we filled the jar, we would go buy the chimp something really cool, like a flat screen TV or something that they needed, hammocks or
Yeah.
whatever. And they said, "Well, we want to donate this for the chimps." And I thought, how cool of you guys to do that. So I mean, they went to great extremes to trick me. I mean, and of course using Dwayne Cunningham, who happened to work for Pam Rosaire at one time with the chimps,
So you
and
knew him before?
I didn't know him. I knew
Okay.
of him, but he could talk the game because he knew the people. He could show me pictures where he had been there and had worked for them. So, you just assume great animal guy, everything's kosher.
Yeah, he's just like involved in the world and another one of them. Yeah.
Yep. And he knew how to talk the game and he knew the names to talk. So I had no reason to doubt him. No reason at all to doubt him.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous.
Yep.
Um,
It's really sad because it really shakes my it definitely shakes my trust in people, and now I'm paranoid. I put up cameras, mind you. I've never had a camera on my property one, and now I've got cameras at every angle of this 28 acres.
mhm.
Uh, it's nuts, and I watch them vigilantly and stuff, and I'm like, Tanya, you really are losing
I
it.
don't know. I don't know. I feel like I would probably do the same thing.
It's horrible, horrible. And when people call me, I used to be like, oh, well, come out and visit, come out and blah, blah, blah. And now I'm like, what do you want? And why are you wanting to come here? And I'm like, oh, I hate to be that kind of person. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that, but I also think you kind of have to.
I think so too at this
Espe-
point. It's sad.
Now it's even worse because you're like a public figure and just all these random people, like just running the social media, like so many kind of crazy people contact you about all kinds of things. And it's just like, yeah, if they knew, I don't know, how to access you.
Well, the whole thing of it is if you think about it, I still have a Facebook page. People message me. I have not. gone anywhere because I'm still who I am. And I don't, it's weird for me because just like people wanting to take pictures with me, that I'll never get used to. But I'm glad to see that I do have some supporters, because when you read all the negatives, you can really get down to where you don't even want to get out of
Yeah.
bed, and you're like, geez, where can I hide? Where can I move to? Where can I go that nobody will know you? But and so that becomes such a reality to you, and then to see some positives, and especially because you've sent me a few of positive things, and I'm like, oh, thank you, because then I think, okay, somebody does really care and know that I did love my boy, and that I'm okay, and so it makes me feel
Oh,
better.
you get a ton of positive comments like all the time. As soon as
I
as
am
soon as
so
I post a
grateful, because I'll
video.
tell you right now. Whew, I've been had my butt ate. I mean, seriously, I have a whole private page on Facebook that's turned to nothing but a hate page, and I'm not the only one that thinks this. I've had a few monkey people send me private messages saying, "God, I cannot believe that lady has turned this into a hate page on you," and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I get it, but I don't
Wait,
get it, and at the same time.
someone made like a private page that's like a hate page about you? Is that what you said?
No, it's actually a primate private
Oh.
page, that we used to always, help each other. It's like a community
Mhm.
thing, which is great, and it is a great page. I mean, there you learn a lot, but basically because of her hate for me, she's turned it into a hate page toward me, and it's really sad because, I mean, I get that you're angry. Call me, text me, message me, tell me what you think of me, and then be done with it. If you got to get your frustrations out somehow, do it to me privately. But to continue to bash is terrible. And they scrutinize everything, and then they try to put blame on you for everything. Just like because of the Primate Safety
Yeah.
Act, they're trying to say that I singly handed him, am going to hand that to them. Well, first of all, they need to do their research. That was way into play, way before I came into play. So they had votes way before I came into play, and they need to realize that if there would be anything at all that I could do with my platform that I have now because of Eric Goodnam, I would say people have no clue what it is to own a primate, and people need to realize chimps are not monkeys, and there is a far cry difference. And I understand that, going after the chimps, if that's so what they choose to do, but um, the primates are something totally different, and they need to leave well enough alone. And I would do anything, including petitions. I would, speak at engagements or whatever it took to try to prevent that from happening. I would even encourage people to come to my safari and come see my primates. I mean, anything that I could do to, help that cause, because I definitely think that is the most ridiculous bill that you could ever have. But I don't know what I could do because I didn't know what I was doing. And I know they say, well, you did do it, and then once you found out, you continued filming. What would you do if you were in my position and couldn't even financially afford your attorney, and you were being ate up by media, and you were in this abyss? You had just lost your boy. They offered you to get to see your boy, which you have not been able to see any of the rest of the kids. And even though I have a consent decree that legally binds them to allowing me to see them, but see, they can go against court orders because they can be in contempt because nobody holds them accountable. But guess who gets accountable for every single solitary thing? And how many times have I had contempt charges because I do something wrong, but that same entity that signed an agreement with me, just like, I signed, they get by with everything. I mean, you can see the injustice in every part of it. Yeah, you really can. If anybody does the research and really cared to hear the real facts, the real story, they would see that I am really being used as an example, and it really stinks because I really feel like I need as much airtime for me to be able to show and prove. And like I said, nobody has to believe my words. They can go to Eastern District of Missouri Supreme Court, or not Supreme Court, sorry, Eastern District Federal Courts, and see all the all the documentation because they can get a copy of it and see it, what that consent decree says.
So, what is the Primate Act for everyone that has no idea?
The Primate Safety Act is an act kind of like the Big Cat Safety
Mhm.
Act that they just enforced on big cats. So they basically are trying to ban the use of private ownership so that nobody can no longer be able to house or keep primates in private sector. And so they're basically trying to take primates out of the whole United States. And what will happen is they will try to delete them to where there is absolutely none whatsoever. None.
Yeah, because there aren't a lot of environments that are conducive for their life either.
Oh, no, because they're taking all their natural habitat away from them, but that's okay. And not only that, but once you domesticate it, people's got to realize we've not imported primates into supposedly private sector since the early 80s. So everything that's been over here has been domesticated and has been revamped year after year after year. So the fact of it is they wouldn't know how to live in the wild. I guarantee you they would not know how to live in the wild. And people just need to come visit people that are private owners that are responsible, because there is a lot of good primate people out there. A lot of good primate people. You're always going to have your bad apples in every industry, whether it be nursing, doctors, lawyers, whether it be anything, zookeepers, anything. But that does not mean that it should just be a straight across the board ban. And I mean, if they want to put more legislation into place to where people have to have hours before they can own a primate, or if they want to do something like, because Florida does, and every state is different. If they want to do certain things, I can get it, but not just totally ban them. So it really sucks.
Yeah, yeah, that's horrible. And a lot of people are under the impression that you still are going into the wild and stealing babies from mothers.
Yeah, I think that's hilarious too, because that's not true. I never have, and that's the funny part. Um, there is, I have a couple of breeders that I just acquired, actually, like say 4 or 5 months ago. I do have those, but most of my babies were brokered from little small zoos or private people that are like breeders, and I do have brokered exotics. But the fact of it is none of them have come from the wild at all.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's pretty obvious, but
Well, there is a pandemic going around with some smuggled stuff from
mhm.
Mexico, and I have mentioned it to Eric Good, and I have text to prove that too. Where I think it's a shame, and a lot of people get caught up in it without even knowing that they're caught up in it, because you can't check everything every time somebody offers you a baby. If they've got paperwork with it, you just assume it's legit and you move on. And there has been some bad stuff there, but I mean, like I said, we could go on for hours about that.
um, let me see. Well, everyone's obsessed with your wigs.
Uh huh.
I'm constantly hearing questions about the wigs. Do you know
Okay.
who Bailey Sarian is? Okay,
No.
well, she is a YouTuber that does true crime makeup videos, and she has like 7 million followers. And
Oh
even
wow.
she was asking
Good for
about your
her.
wigs.
Good for her. Anybody that can be successful, I'm about. Especially if you work hard to get there. Basically, I don't really have a brand that I use more than others. It's kind of crazy how that even got started. I've always had thin, fine hair, and I've always hated my hair. And as I was growing up, I always said whenever I got bigger and I could choose, I was going to have good hair no matter what. So like I started out doing extensions, and back then it was from the main maker out of Springfield, Missouri. He used to do the glue
Oh
ins,
yeah.
the tracks, the glue in tracks. Okay, well, we did that, but it was pulling hair, and every time they were loosening up, it was a fiasco. That was like an old thing that people did, which was better than nothing, but now they've got so many more options. And so I started that, and then I went to, I had a friend that I was a nurse at a facility, and she actually was a beautician there at the facility, and she did a lot of ethnic hair, and she said, "Oh, girl, I could fix you up." She said, "I'll just sew in some tracks, and we'll just sew you in some hair, and then we'll put a topper on, and everything will be great." I was like, "Okay, that sounds good." So I did that for quite a while, and then it got to where that was a pain in the rear. And so she's like, "Well, girl, we'll just sew on a hairpiece for you. We'll just make it like a weave, and we'll just sew it on." And I'm like, "Oh, cool." So ever since then, that's what I've always done. And that's been, I don't know, say 15, maybe 16 years that I've done that. So basically, we just pick one, and there used to be this cool hair place that this Oriental person ran, and I just would go there and I just find one that I liked. And for a long time, because of I was kind of embarrassed about it, and I didn't want people to know it was a hair piece. I would use the same one over and over and over. I would just buy the same exact one, and then we just resew it in after it got dry and needed to be trashed. And then now I'm like, I kind of embrace it a lot more. So then I'm like, okay, nope, I kind of like that style. I like that color. And not only that, my friends will say, "Hey, I think you look better this color." So then I'm like, okay, I'll try it once. So, cause I'm up to anything that I could try. So I try it, and then I wear it until I don't like it. And then we take it out, wash my hair, rebraid it, and retrack it back in.
Okay. So you had thin hair and that's what started it then?
Yep. Oh yeah. Because I was like, I'm gonna have good hair because I'd watch all those girls have good hair. I was like, one day, no matter what, I'm gonna have good hair. And you got to realize, I don't have a lot of time to do stuff. That's why everybody's like, "Well, you always look like you're made up." Guess what? Every single bit of this makeup is permanent makeup. There is
Really?
not one thing on my eyeshadow, my eyeliner, my lips, everything is tattooed on with a permanent makeup person. And so then I wake up just like this every single solitary day. I wear a hairnet, a silky hairnet to keep the hair from tangling. And I go to bed and I wake up and I'm this way every single solitary day.
Oh my
So
God, that's awesome. I had no idea. I can't.
yeah, and everybody's like, "Why?" And because I have no time. If people know my schedule, as soon as I wake up, I've got several babies to feed bottles. Then I've got to cut up a bunch of stuff for primates and for that, because my husband does the safari parts, and I do the primates and the babies, and he does bottle feed like the hoof stock, but I do all the others. My howler's chewing on my hair. It's funny. But anyway, so you see her right back there. That little thug. Anyways, um, I go ahead and I don't have time, and so this is how I look. I don't care if you see me at Walmart. I don't care if you see me at the end of the day going to sleep. This is how you're gonna find me. Period. End of the day.
Wow, I'm jealous of that.
Don't be, or if you are, come up and we'll get you hooked up.
Because everybody's also like, what shade are you wearing on your lips? And so I guess,
Well, it's bazooka bubblegum pink with a little bit of raspberry, because the pink wasn't showing up whenever I did the lip tattooing. I mean, I kept doing it to myself, and let me tell you, that's not fun. It's very hurtful. And so for me to do it 20 times just to get color on your lips, it's bazooka pink with a little bit of raspberry is what it is. So.
so are you doing that yourself?
Oh no, no,
Okay.
no. I have an artist here. I have an artist here. One in Springfield and one over in Osage, and then I have a lady in Lori, Missouri that works with me too. So I go to all those to try to get whatever I want, because one won't do what I want, and so then I'll go to the next one to get what I want, because I know what I want. So
And it's permanent. And so you want it to look how
yes,
you want it.
I know, that's what I
How long
say.
does it last?
I do touch ups once a year, and that's
That's
it.
cool.
So it's easy. Yep.
Um, a lot of people are asking if there's going to be a Chimp Crazy too.
Um, Eric Good did glaze past the potential of wanting me to do a five. He like threw it out
Oh,
there. Well, maybe we should do a five, episode five. And I just glazed right on past that conversation and started a new one. So, um, I don't have any plans at all to do one.
yeah.
The only way that I would even consent to doing one is if it was done at Save the Chimps and I got to visit my boy and they all got to film all that, then 100% I would
Oh,
do it.
yeah. That would be perfect.
I think that would be a good ending to the docu-series, and I think it would be amazing for me, Tonka, and for everybody. I think everybody might, well, not the haters, but the people that like the situation, I think they would like to see that. So I think it would be amazing if we could get that accomplished.
That actually would be the perfect ending. Well, not the perfect ending, but a good ending. A better ending.
Well, I, you know what? I'm happy that Tonka is doing okay. I don't think he's doing as great as they say he is by looking at him because I know him, and of course nobody knows him. But of course that's what the haters are throwing out. Well, look at him; he's reunited with his
Yeah,
son. Well, first of all, he wasn't reunited with his son because he was never with his son, so that's BS. But the other thing of it is if you read the People magazine, where all of his caregivers said it took him a long time to get adjusted and to acclimate, that he was definitely humanized and he didn't know how to play in chimp politics. Well, that tells me that what I had to say all along was the truth, and that's what I was trying to preserve for Tonka so he didn't have to endure going through the change because I didn't see why he had to. I didn't see what was wrong with where he was at 30 some years old. If he wasn't there at 30 some years old, which I did not do to him, because mind you, I did not raise
yeah,
Tonka, um, then I would say, okay. But to me, the same thing I told PETA, I'd work with you to pass legislation to possibly, not allow chimps to be pets for people. But the thing of it is leave the ones that are there alone and start from scratch and just don't allow any more to have to endure that if that's how they feel. Now, I, on the other hand of the spectrum, feel like that they have a good life and can have a quality of life. They just need to see him with me and make that determination once they actually seen that. But see, everybody jumps to conclusions, just like saying Tonka lived in the basement and that it was a small cage. Well, that cage was the same size cage as he lived in at Connie's. We measured his before he left, and we made sure that he had exactly the same size. Not only that, he didn't live in that cage. Um, he was only there a few months, and that was because they offered a reward. I underestimated PETA and their where they were with the situation, or I never would have done what I did. I would have rethought my thinking processes, but I really did think they would leave well enough alone and leave Tonka alone. And I had a building down below that was cinder blocked with 3 chimp cages, which I could take people out there to see. And he would have had a couch, and we would have had been able to get out. He could have been playing with me, and I was going to build him. I've got 2 windows that he could look out. They're triple pane double laminate, so they're chimp proof. But he could look out, see the deer, see all the camels, see the other animals, so that it would keep him busy, and he would have a TV. Plus, I was going to build him an outdoor enclosure that was in the woods so that it couldn't be seen. So there was going to be more to the story, but again, I didn't have the opportunity, and that's what people need to realize. That was not going to be like it was, and it happened on a whim that I had to change the narrative because I got caught up into something, and I made a promise to Tonka one day, and I promised to keep that, and which was that I was going to let him not have to work ever again. He doesn't have to entertain people. He doesn't have to breed chimps. He doesn't have to do anything but be Tonka. And I was going to take care of him the rest of his life. And that was my goal. And I was just going to let Tonka be Tonka.
yeah. One of the things that really pisses me off is that a lot of people like act like you're the one that acquired all the chimps and got him working in movies and that you did all that and then you were hiding him in a basement and just wanting to keep him there and yeah, it was
Yeah. That's a wrong
Mhm.
narrative. I mean, that's a huge wrong narrative. But, that's the whole thing. People need to stop and realize the whole situation before they pass judgment. And I always throw it back to them. If it was your kid, and I know people have a disagreement that Tonka was my kid, but he was my boy. If I felt it and he felt it, it is
Yeah.
because we adopt kids all the time. I adopted my daughter, but I love her as much as I do my biological son. And the thing of it is you, if it was happening to them, I would have done the same for them. So the thing of it is people's just got to realize and I did make a mistake. I never should have lied to that federal court judge. I'm not even defending some of my actions because some of my actions are not defendable. But the fact of it is I made a mistake. But everybody is entitled to a mistake, or at least I think they should be. And as long as that person is aware of what their mistakes are and that they're not willing to go down that same path, then I don't see why everybody has to be the judge, juror, and hangman.
Oh yeah, it's really easy to sit, on your couch at home and watch a documentary and think that you know what's best for everybody too, right?
Right. But I wish they could see me with Tonka, really see me with Tonka live. I would do some live streams if they would allow me to visit with him and touch him. They're the ones that took 45 minutes to get him out of here and dart him. I never had to dart Tonka to get him into a crate. All I had to do is say, "Come on, boy," and he would get in. So if he didn't want to, he's 200 and whatever pounds. He would not have to. Trust me, he could do whatever he wants to do. So that tells you a lot right there, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like I said, some of the stuff is just
It's
ridiculous.
sad. It's really sad and ridiculous.
Yep.
Um, yeah, so yeah, he was just in the cage or whatever for a short amount of time while you're trying to prepare all this other stuff. And like
Well,
a lot of people are asking like, "Hey, was he just in there? Did you like spend time with him?" But obviously you did, like when the crew wasn't there.
we spent, well, the crew knew. The crew spent time with them. What are you talking about?
Well, the people that watch the documentary don't seem to understand that.
Oh, yeah. They filmed him. They all talked to him. They all loved on him. Tonka had probably, if I was guessing, 100 visitors. He had visitors all the time. They'd watch football with him. They would do things with him. No, no, no. Tonka was never left alone. He had an iPad. He could watch videos. He could do stuff. Not only that, but if it was me and Tonka, I could interact with Tonka by myself out of the
Yeah.
cage because he was fine. But you never know about a grown chimp, and you're not going to put anybody in jeopardy in harm's way. So if I would never have allowed other people. They played with him through the cage. Even my son did, and would show him videos and let him watch his phone. And so no, everybody had. They all loved
Yeah.
Tonka. They loved
Yeah,
him.
and you spent time with him out of the cage. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And I would have let him roam. I would have taken him even in a car if he was not a fugitive. But people's got to keep this in mind. He was a fugitive with a $20,000 reward on his head. So it wasn't, and like I said, that wasn't planned. I had no idea Peter would go to that extreme. So guess what? I kind of got myself into a jam. And yes, did it put Tonka? But you got to realize Tonka was an older chimp. He had fractured his elbow in May of 2020. He didn't have good mobility. Still doesn't have, because if you watch him climb and stuff, even at Center for Great Apes, it is not like a chimp should. So the fact of it is there's so much more to that story. And yes, I would never have left him there like that permanently. Never,
Yeah.
never.
So even all of the ideas that people have about you are completely false.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Nope. But that's it's easy to see something that you see on TV and believe it wholeheartedly, and it's easy to run with it.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Especially, yeah, so far removed and from home.
And especially when you have a lot of AR publicity wanting people to say, they've got their agenda, so they could say, just like ASPCA when they show those dogs, they don't realize what that commercial starts out with. ASPCA how they get those dogs to look like that. They don't go find those dogs. I mean, come on. PETA doesn't even have any. If you look, they kill more animals than anybody in the industry of animal care. They kill more animals that they supposedly are supposed to be able to protect and have ethical treatment thereof. So I guess they feel like euthanizing them is better than letting them go to a foster home or to something. So there's so much. Like I said, oh, I could go on for hours, and I could actually go on a rant because I used to, but I've gotten so much better about trying to stay focused on the positives and what really matters. And honestly, you know, PETA's never going to go away. I've come to that conclusion, and it's sad, but it's not going to happen. They have too much power and too much money, and God help the world is all I can say.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you're right. Uh,
I used to have high hopes whenever I was young and dumb.
I don't know. Maybe they'll make a big mistake.
I keep hoping, and I guarantee I'd be the first to pick it up and run with it. But when you've got people that are just so, especially stars that are so starstruck by PETA and they have no clue, it's really a
Yeah,
shame. It's really a shame that they fundraise people money for people that want to kill dogs, but then they'll go around with their little dogs and their little purses. I don't get it because they really need to really research what they're doing.
yeah. Who are you talking about? Paris Hilton.
Yeah, Paris Hilton, Pam
Oh,
Anderson, because some people compare me to her, and I'm like, no, because she's a PETA person, and I'm like, no, no, that's turns me off. But anyway, and no offense to Pam, because I think she's a gorgeous woman. It's not that at all. It's just that if she can not see the forest for the trees, ugh, no, 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 no.
yeah. Oh, a lot of people want to know if there's any update on the island.
I have an island in mind. It's here at Osage Beach. You just got to get the funds up to be able to buy it because it's $1 million just to buy it. But it does have a piece of property that has a dock on the other side, so you can park your car there and stuff and be able to cross over. I would love it. And even though I can't have chimps, we could do something else. You could do gibbons. You could do orangs. You could take in, even monkeys. Wouldn't that be cool to just be able to sit out there and walk amongst your monkeys and then be free and not have any caging or any enclosures and just be themselves? I would love it
Yeah,
myself, and I would be the the circus person, ringleader.
that would be amazing.
I think it would be, but there's a lot of people that think, "Oh my gosh, she's nuts." But it's okay though. I love the primates. I love the
Yeah,
primates.
you're
It,
you're passionate about that, and you're like, that's what you stand up for, and so I feel like that should be really endearing. It's really endearing about you, and I don't understand why everybody can't see that.
Well, go look at my Facebook page of all my little primates that I've owned, and I mean they are well cared for. They've all been well vetted, and whatever. But everybody has their opinion, and as long as they don't rain on my parade, I won't rain on their parade. And I just want people to, like I said, even if they don't agree to disagree, because it's sad to want to desecrate somebody. You don't have to have the same views as everybody about everything and still not be able to live beside them.
Yeah, yeah, that's true, and unfortunately, in our culture today, everyone thinks that you do.
You're a pretty lady, by the way. This is the first time I've actually seen you, and you're really
Oh,
gorgeous. I love your hair, love I mean, your eyes are gorgeous. Yeah,
thank you,
you got it going on.
thank you. What an honor for you,
Oh,
the Dolly Parton of gyms.
Oh, I hate that because everybody says, "Oh, she thinks she's." No, 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 no. I'm going to tell you that story. That story is like me and Jerry will go to a local bar here, and as I'm leaving out the door, they'll say, "Goodbye, Dolly. Goodbye, Dolly." And some people will come through the safari, and it can be a female. It doesn't always have to be male gendered, and they'll say, "You remind me of Dolly. You remind me of Dolly." So that's where that
I
came
think you
about because
do too. A lot of people say that
well,
online.
I know, but I'm so sick of like them trying to say like I did it.
Oh, the people that are saying
Uh,
like you are making this up.
yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of the primate people are saying, "Oh yeah, see, she thinks she's
Oh.
Dolly." No, 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 no. I've never thought that. I play with my howler. Sorry,
So that's,
she's cracking me up.
I want to play with your howler.
She is something else. She's a hot mess minute today.
Oh yeah, what perfume?
Now, she's not caged, by the way. She doesn't have an enclosure. Not yet. She gets to be out and be free, except at night. She does get into a cage to go to sleep, and that's because she roams this house. And yes, does she chew up dollar bills? Have we taken a whole bank bag full of money that she's got a hold of? And we've been able to recoup some and not recoup some. But that I feel like that's my own fault because I go ahead and I'm stupid enough to leave it down for her to get to. So but no, she does not get caged. Just heads up to everybody because I am like over everybody trying to say that I keep all these animals in small cages.
Mhm.
Blah blah blah. That's not true either. But she will eventually have to go to an enclosure. But it will be a nice enclosure, and it will be indoor outdoor, and they're welcome to come by and see her. I don't have a problem with people you know seeing. In fact, maybe we could do it on the podcast just to show what my new monkey barn
That would be
and
great.
my new cage. Yeah, we're not finished, but we are working progressively on it. But that way people could see that we're not like people have made us out to be on this documentary and on TV and that type stuff. So no.
What's her name?
Her actually, she doesn't have a name, and it's funny. I call her Howler. I got to come up with a name, but the breeder that bred her told me she was a male, and for months I thought she kind of looked like a female, but then I was like, I'm not sure. So then my vet sexed her, and it ended up that she is a female. So I was going to call her Sully because she reminds me of Monster
Hmm.
Inc. If it was a boy, but because she's a girl, I just really haven't came up with a good name. So if anybody can come up with a good name for a little blonde howler that's ornery as shit, I'm all for letting them pick a name because I'm kind of like at a standstill. But she's got to definitely have one because she's old enough. She should easily know her name by now. But she knows her name is Howler because if I call her Howler, she'll come running. So, but I wasn't sure what. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to find a mate, and if I didn't, I was gonna send her to a friend of mine that has howlers, because I do believe that they are socialitic animals, and that all primates need to have some of their own kind, that type thing. So I want to do what's best for her. So I didn't really have in mind what was going to really happen there, but she's been my lifeline since Tonka's been gone, and since all this stuff has came out, of the documentary and stuff, because there's days I just am so down. I'm like, she brightens my day, so I'm not sure where I'm at with her. You hear her
Yes.
grumbling.
I don't know what you're gonna do when she's doing the 8 mile radius howling.
Hopefully she'll be out and she can hear Frankie and Louie's music and sing to the music, and maybe they'll be like, what the crap is that?
What was the monkey you were brushing in like the ad or whatever that was grumbling? Was that a howler? Okay.
Yes, yes, that was a black howler monkey, but it wasn't mine. It was just a friend of mine that needed it fed, because mom didn't do good with it, and it's hard. Howlers are hard. They're plant based, and they're hard to keep, and so they don't live a lot in captivity. So basically, that was a howler that I had to try to help out, and so of course I didn't get to keep it. So but I do a lot of
Mhm.
that. I'll help people if I can, and then they go out, and then like I said, I broker too on top of it, so I bottle feed so many babies, but very few are going to be my pets. I don't have really, I'm very particular because I want to be able to spend that time with them and give them that one-on-one. So I'm not big into owning lots, and that's what people don't understand about me. I love the primates, and that's why I love to broker, because I could help find them a good home and try to ensure that they went someplace safe and good, and if not, help them, through the situation. And that's why I enjoyed it. Plus, I got to be around them and not own them, because I just don't see how people can own very many primates and give them what they need.
Yeah,
I
I
just don't.
agree. I even think that's true with people that have a lot of cats or dogs. Like, or yeah, like how can you give each one enough of your time?
No, because it's hard. It's tough. It's a full time
Mhm.
job, and plus you got to do your other stuff too. So I personally don't think, I want to quit. Oh, you're a little gremlin. She's just chewing on my knee or my leg, and she's just a hilarious little creature. But anyway, so I can't help but laugh at her. But no, so yeah, no, I just only want a couple that belong to me, and then I just want to, make sure the rest have good environment and try to help anybody that I can with them. And still to this day, even though I'm disappointed in some of the monkey community, I've had some really good monkey community too. So whenever I say something, I want people to understand it's not 100% across the board, and it's not like I got this big, terrible hard on for the monkey community, because there are really good monkey people and really good monkey people that's been supportive. But it's sad that people, can take one person, let that can, that person that can be hold contempt for me, want to, bash me, and then they join right in, and then, it becomes like a circus. And that part I don't understand, because I thought we were grown ups and we have a right to our own opinions, and we should base our opinions on what's there, not what people are told, because we can be minions. It's like with even with politics, we can be minions and try to follow these politicians because one person believes in this, but that's crazy. You need to be educated yourself and know yourself before you pass judgment on anything. And not only that, but is it really our right to judge? It's the good Lord's right, and you know we have a right to be smart and to know things, but we don't have a right to desecrate people.
Yeah, there's a lot of that around the world now, especially in politics, just like brainwashing and just thinking that you know everything for everybody else.
I know, and for any one political party, to me, that would want to harm the other person as a person, that's kind of getting to the gross point, and I mean, I don't know, but we won't
Yeah,
go there.
let's not get canceled already.
Right. Well, I don't get into politics, to be honest with you. I try to stay off TV and stuff, because the less I know, I call it Tanya's world. The less I know about stuff, the better off I am, because I do stress over stuff. I do, and so I'm like, I just don't watch TV. I don't participate in any of that stuff, because I don't know that I have a right to formulate an opinion, because I'm not educated enough to formulate that opinion.
Um, okay, so just to confirm, you do have a cameo because a lot of people ask about your cameo. So,
Yes, I do. Cameo themselves reached out to a Australian outlet that I did, and wanted my information, because they wanted me, because I guess they had some requests from some people, so they reached out to me and asked me if I would do it. And I was actually getting my pedicure and my nails done, and so he helped me walk me through it. One of the representatives, I don't know who it was, but walked me through how to set it up. And he actually set it up for me while I was sitting in the pedicure chair. So we got that accomplished. And because I'm not very savvy with the computer, so I was like, okay, I'm grateful for you to help me. But he did help me set it up, and it's been going good. I'd like to see more, because honestly, it's kind of fun to do. It's kind of fun to do shout outs and that type stuff. So, but yes, I do have a Cameo. And of course, we have our website with our clothing
Yes.
line, which is amazing, amazing, amazing. I mean, I love the quality of stuff. The shirts are amazing, and I encourage people to jump on there if they really do support us, to get us out there and definitely help, because I do plan on donating some money to help with some causes, some legislation and stuff. And I just would like to see some good stuff come out of this, because if I have to be desecrated and trashed, I feel like if I can do some good out there, like with the Primate Safety Act or something, I'm more than willing to do that. So I do want to help people and help any primate and any animal that needs help. So I'd like to start maybe some funding in that direction. I just haven't got to that
Oh
point
yeah,
yet.
that's a good idea. Sure.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
that should be incorporated. Um, Someone asked what your favorite drink from Sonic is.
Cherry Coke. I That's strictly
Cherry
cherry Coke.
Coke, okay.
Yep.
Um,
And I don't drink alcohol. It's not that I'm opposed to it or that I'm a nilly nilly, because I actually do love Fireball. But it Fireball, and yeah, then that's when I get on the phone and I make phone calls, or I lose shoes or whatever. So alcohol and me, it doesn't take much, just a little bit to get me there. So unless you're willing to be my babysitter, then we best not do that.
okay. So that's good to know.
Very good to know.
Oh, I tried to ask her this earlier. So in the documentary, someone said that you smelled really good. What
Uh-huh.
fragrance do you wear?
I wear Euphoria by Calvin
Okay.
Klein.
Yeah, a lot of
Hmm.
people have asked about that.
Euphoria, and then I love Poisons, and I know they're old from Christian Dior, but you still can get some of them, and I get them and I mix them. So sometimes you see that, but the majority of the time it is Euphoria.
Okay. And if they were to do a movie about your life, who do you feel would be the best actress to play you?
Hmm. Well, hmm, I mean, I would love to see like Miss Dolly play it, just because I love her. I love her because you know what? She's just as an amazing person, but she is who she is, kind of like I am, and she's not afraid to talk about her wigs, or she's not afraid to talk about her little nips and tucks, as she calls it. So that would be amazing. And even though she's older than I am, she sure doesn't look it. So if she could handle being a crazy like I am, then I would love to see her. And if not, I mean, because my favorite actress is Jennifer Aniston. I love Jennifer
Okay.
Aniston. I just do. I do. I love her. I love her in her movies, and I just love who she is and that type thing. But she definitely doesn't look like me or have that. So I'd have to say Dolly. I mean, for real.
Yeah, I think that's pretty spot on. Do you
Yeah.
know who Jennifer Coolidge is? Um,
Mm-mm.
what is she in? Have you seen Legally Blonde? The
Yes. Yes. I love that. I love Reese Witherspoon too.
the lady, the hair.
Oh, the hairdresser
Yeah,
lady. Yes, now she could do it. She could do it.
a lot of people mess it like tag her in your post, and they're like, you have to play her.
Now I could see her getting it on too. No, because she is fun. She's real fun. Yeah, no, that'd be awesome too. Yep.
Okay, that's great. Is there anything else you want to add?
Nope, I'm
Okay.
good. We did good, I think, for first podcast,
We-
truthfully. And I just want everybody to come join us each week. I don't care if we talk about topics of makeup. I don't care if we talk about anything. Whatever the fans would like to see, I would like to put out there. But I do want to be transparent. And even if there's tough questions that they want to ask that I, you know, may not be proud of, I'm going to answer it in the best way that I can. I just feel like that people need to know, and I don't want to be anything different than what I am. And if you like me, that's great. Support me, keep supporting me, because I need all the support I can get. If you're a hater, just jump off and bump off our page, because guess what? We don't have room for those. It's not right, because there's so much content and so much platforms out there. Go get your own
Mhm.
platform, or go join somebody that you do align with, because everybody has their own things that make them the world go round for them. And I don't have a problem with that. And just enjoy life and quit trying to be I don't know, just quit hating, because there's too much hate out there, and there needs to be so much love to where we can give back and help the communities.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great ending message.
Thank you for tuning into our podcast. We will be releasing new episodes every week on Monday. You can also check out Tonia on Cameo, and you can buy our merchandise at chimpcrazylady.com or on Etsy, with more places coming soon. Thank you.